let's take a look at the Magic Force 68. Back in the day, it was probably the best board that you could get for $40-ish, and honestly, it just doesn't hold up by today's standards. With options like the GK61, the Womier K66, or even the MZ60, it just doesn't stack up. So I thought that maybe we could change that. So my first issue with the board is that it has a ton of case ping. I'm assuming it's because the top plate is aluminum, which causes a lot of ping, and the bottom half is just hollow plastic, which allows it to reverberate. So that's no good. The stabilizers are really bad. Super rattly. They're just stock, no lube, nothing. So we're gonna fix that. But honestly, those two issues aren't that bad. The real issue is that it comes with these Outemu blues. Now look, if you like these, that's okay. The hobby is all preference. If you want to use the Outemu blues, it's fine. They're not necessarily bad switches. I just don't like clickies that aren't box shades. So instead, we're gonna throw in some filmed and lubed Gateron Milky yellows. Now, the issue is I've never soldered anything in my life, and even worse, I've never desoldered anything in my life. So I got to use this as an opportunity to learn how to do both. And honestly, it was really worth it. Honestly, soldering and desoldering isn't that hard. After watching a couple of YouTube tutorials, I mostly got the gist of it. And honestly, once I was in the groove, I was getting at it pretty good. The only thing is desoldering is really annoying, especially when all you have is a solder sucker. If you had a solder gun, that'd be better, but I don't plan on desoldering that much anymore. It did take a bit, but eventually I got to the point where I wasn't over soldering, maybe about halfway in. So I guess half the switches are domes, but at least the other half are volcanoes. After soldering the switches, I went straight to tuning the stabilizers, first with balancing them, very important. Then we would put band-aids on the plate, and then we would lube the stabilizers and put them in. And honestly, these stabilizers turned out a lot better than I thought they would. I mean, they're better than the drop stabilizers, which really surprised me. But of course, I did spend more time with these stabilizers, so maybe that's why they came out so nice. And once I had finished tuning each stabilizer and then soldering in the last few switches, then I moved on to putting foam in the bottom of the case, and even though it's kind of janky, it works just fine. After I finished putting in the foam, I put the case back together, and then I put on the keycaps. Now, unfortunately, I did lose a couple of keycaps. I have no idea where they are. So I threw on some cheap $30 Aliexpress keycaps that I had laying around as a burner set. And honestly, it looks pretty good. Now the question is, does it sound as good as it looks? Here's a sound test. man, that's a huge improvement. And honestly, I'm super happy with how this board turned out. I got over my fear of soldering, I got this keyboard to sound really friggin' good, and it looks pretty good too. And it's not expensive to do this. The Gaterons only cost $16, the film only cost $7, lube costs like what, $12? A brush is like $1. So in total that's it costs less than the keyboard. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's cheap, excluding the keycaps, of course. I mean, that's a completely optional choice. It's up to you. You can put whatever you want on there. You can use the stock keycaps. I only replaced them because I'm an idiot and I lost the stock keycaps, so there's that. But honestly, if you have a board lying around that you don't use anymore, I would encourage you to try this out. But yeah, that's the board. I really hope you guys like it. I certainly had fun doing this. But thank you so much for watching. Please check out my other videos. It would mean a lot to me. And again, thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.